Number 3 Kenyans, and welcome to those in the other countries watching. Hope you guys are having a spectacular day and a fabulous day. Syed here. Welcome to For Hope. So to those watching, happy September, happy Labor Day. You know, some of your schools have opened up. Everyone around the world, your schools have opened up. Hope the first week of school is going well. We got to get ready and get back, pack up those bags and get ready to go to school, right? Our team wants to wish you guys a very good luck for this school year. Have fun. There's always an important time to have fun, learn, make new friends. Please, try to balance all that in your lives. And yeah, we pray for the best for you guys as well. Alright, in today's video, we're going to be discussing about the last topic to Unit 2 Operation and Bike Principles, and that is rotational momentum and drivetrain gears. This video, we are going to go over majority of it is going to go really into the physics behind them. We've talked about a little bit of rotational momentum in our previous video, but this video we're going to be talking about more about the physics in depth behind this as well. To the Kenyans for updates currently right now, our team is working on the big project. We're getting our heads wrapped up into that right now. We're doing the best we can with that big project. Hope you guys are the ruler cannons going up. Please send that to us if possible. Our team would love to see your ruler cannons in action. And the last update, we took your feedback. We are going to be installing calculus videos for you guys. So you guys wanted calculus videos, and also to the engineering enthusiasts and other people watching this video, to the viewers watching, we're going to be doing some calculus video review as well. You know, calculus is very, very important, especially in the applications of the real world, and also, engineering as well. So we're going to be going over that. We're going to be going over specifically just Calculus 1. It's going to be in our special playlist with special lessons. Calculus 1 is going to be like definite integrals, limits. There's also optimization. We're going to be going over all of those, so stay tuned on that. And yeah, that's also to the updates for the people all around the world as well. I want to give a shout out to also Mr. Beast. Thank you guys for your team. You guys did a wonderful job in bringing water to the Kenyans and also food and aid to the Kenyans. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Keep doing the philanthropy work. You guys are doing so good. Please do that. And the Kenyans, I heard that the United Nations, the headquarters is going to be coming to Nairobi, Kenya. So they told me that in the end of 2026, they told around a lot of us as well. So we're going to pray for the best, but we're going to do our best to get this program up and running. Anyways, let's begin. I talk so much. So let's talk about, first of all, what is rotational momentum? Rotational momentum, the definition of that is a measure of tendency to keep wheels spinning and to maintain stability. It acts like a gyroscope. We'll talk about what a gyroscope is, but just keep in mind, it's just essentially as the wheels spin in a certain instrument, there's stability that's being maintained. And this is essentially measured by some tendency. The direct relationship with rotational momentum, well, rotational momentum, it's a rotation. Momentum is like power, so it's like the power of rotation. So the direct relationship, this is a direct relationship. The faster the wheels spin, that means that there's going to be greater rotational momentum, meaning that in terms of the bike's resistance of tipping over is going to be present. Now, how does this work? Because there's more movement, more kinetic energy, that means that there's going to be more faster wheel spin, and there's going to be greater rotational momentum as a result. Now, there is another thing in rotational momentum, and that's called angular momentum, the power to change the angle, essentially, of a wheel specifically. How can you change that? Change the direction. So we'll show you guys actually something with the gyroscope to just give you guys a reference of that and how you can change the direction. But here's some diagram images of angular momentum for point objects and extended objects. Excuse me. I just ate a cup of noodles with hot sauce. I should not have done that. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be using the bathroom for 10 times. Oh my gosh. So here's something that we have over here for point objects. We can see that when a basketball is thrown around the point object, the radius, this is the radius. P, I believe, represents precession, and L represents probably angular momentum in this case. Precession is essentially how much torque is applied on a center of axis of when an object rotates. That's pretty much what precession really means. So when an object rotates, the radius is consistent. It's going through a point axis. To calculate the angular momentum, you have to get the angle itself in there. And I think that's calculating the arc, convert that to radians or degrees, and calculate the central angle, etc. So that's really what you would do here. So that's for the point objects. For extended objects, when a basketball is in an extended object, for that, The angular momentum is equal to I. I am not sure what I is. I forgot what I is. It's completely fine. Leave a comment down below what you guys think I is, but you're multiplying that by the angular velocity. So the angular velocity is essentially the speed that's being changed at a certain angle. This is a vector. Vectors are basically directions of where this is going. So it's a magnitude or a unit of measurement. It's a magnitude. So yeah. So this is very, very cool. You know, some good diagrams for angular momentum. Now let's talk about gyroscopes. We're going to be talking more about angular momentum in this part as well. What is a gyroscope? Well, it's not well, if you guys think that it's Galileo Galilei with the telescope and you know, or Copernicus with the heliocentric theory. No, this is actually a different machine. That's a different instrument that we use in STEM worlds. A gyroscope. What's the definition of that? It's a device that measures and maintains orientation and angular velocity using a spinning wheel. So essentially, it's a device that has spinning wheels, and that's where the orientation and angular velocity changes. Now, where is this applied? You know, for example, aircraft navigation, you know, air traffic control systems, bicycles, you know, changing direction, cruise ships, navigation, etc. Hobbyists are also like, you know, when they're hiking as well, and phones. I know Apple, Samsung, and other devices, they have this digital app that you have for compass, like a compass, like, you know, where to detect, like, you know, southwest, northeast, southeast. There's like a lot of directions that they go. It's like a digital detection system of where you're at currently. So the phones really have that kind of thing called a compass, and that's really, really cool. The gyroscope changes direction at the point of where you are, which is very cool in phones. Fun fact, the gyro stems from an ancient Greek word, and that means not gyro like the food from the gyro from like the cart stands. No, not like those kind of things. Gyro is an ancient Greek word that means round or to look. Okay? I'm not talking about the things in the vendors the food in the vendors where you can get gyro. No, not that. That's really good. I had a lot of noodles, guys, but oh my god, no more, guys. But it's an ancient Greek that means round or to look, basically changing direction. In this diagram over here, we can see here the representation of what a gyroscope looks like. We have an angular momentum over here, and we have the spinning axis that's being rotated. Now keep in mind, this is the rapidly spinning inner wheel. So this is the inner wheel. Will maintain its direction in space if the outside framework changes. So essentially, as the framework at the outside changes, the inner wheel will change its direction, and essentially the whole thing will move. Now, what is like each component? Well, we have the gyroscope frame. This is the outside. We have something over here that represents that as well. This is the gyroscope frame, the outer ring. The inner ring is called the gimbal. We have the spinning axis that allows the whole thing to kind of rotate, and the rotor, which allows the movement of the This allows the gyroscope to maintain orientation and angular velocity. It keeps making sure it rotates properly. So that's really, really cool. Next, we're going to be talking about torques. We've gone over a little bit on torques last time, but I think this time we're going to go into a very good emphasis on torques. So the definition for this is a force that's causing an object to rotate around an axis. Now, the direct relationship with this is that the higher the torque means that the bike is going to carry heavier loads, which means that there's going to be a smooth acceleration at lower speeds. So what does this mean? Essentially, the amount of force that you apply around that axis, that means that the bike will typically carry heavier loads, and that would mean that you're going to have smoother acceleration at low speeds. Think about it like this. Let's say that there are a ton of suitcases on a car, and the car's out of gas, and you want to push it. You're going to have to apply more force for that to kind of go through, and that means that you have to carry heavy loads, and you have to do smooth acceleration. Wait, actually, no, that's not a good scenario. I think here's a better scenario. Let's just say that when you're carrying heavier load on a truck, right? You're carrying a lot of like baggage in a truck, and when the truck is moving forward, it's going to go very, very slow, but it's at high force because the object is trying to move forward. So that's kind of a good example, like a heavy load truck, and you know, it's going at smooth acceleration at low speeds. That's a good example on a highway especially as well. A fun fact, in electric vehicles, they have higher torque at low RPMs, which provide quick acceleration from standstill. The difference between torque versus horsepower, I'm going to just give a little bit of that conception. Torque is a twisting force because, torque is a quick twisting force because there is, at lower RPMs, there's quick acceleration from standstill. It will go immediately accelerate very quickly. That's why it's a force that goes sudden, really. While the horsepower is being power delivered over time, at steady pace, steady time, the power is going to go and accelerate by itself. I'm going to be going over a good experiment on this. We're going to be going over experiments, so take a look at the next video. This is going to be an experiment on torque versus horsepower related, so we'll do a whole experiment on that. Hope you guys have fun with that as well. Some diagrams over here. We can see the torque that's being used to generate electricity and power on this electric bicycle. And over here we're seeing, you know, the representation of really how the system of the spinning wheel and the rotor kind of go together. So we can see here that the up part is to tension, which is equal to mass times gravity. We also have over here the direction of precession. Again, that's how much torque is being applied around that axis point. And we have the downforce, that's the mg, so that's the mass times gram. This is the downforce, or known as weight. And we have lever arm, the distance between the lever arm, and that's essentially the lever arm for the torque is essentially equal to the mass times the gravity times that by the distance of that lever arm. So that's very, very cool. Now keep in mind the change in the angular momentum is perpendicular to the angular momentum. It's always 90 degrees. The vector direction of the torque is along the axis about which the system would rotate if it were starting from rest and subject to that torque alone. So essentially it's just saying that vector directions matter in these cases, because of course the whole goal for really anything really with spinning is that you have to maintain orientation and angular velocity and speed. So we can see here that the precession is equal to I. I'm not sure what I means. I'm going to take a look at that, but leave a comment down below what you guys think I is. You're multiplying that by A, which is acceleration. That's equal to the angular momentum change over the change of time. So just keep that in mind when we're going on into that. Next thing we're going to be discussing about is what is drivetrain gear. Okay. Excuse me. Let's go over drivetrain gears. What are drivetrain gears? The definition for that is a system of bike parts that work together to allow a cyclist to change gears and adjust their pedaling effort. So, bike parts that are basically interacting for them to change the gears and adjust their pedaling effort. There are some bikes that where you can change the gears, like for example, like there's like a rotation thing on like the bike, you know, handles, where you can change the gears from like 1, which is like very, very, very like loose gears, to 7, which is very, very, very tight gears. The more tighter the gears, the more pedaling effort there's going to be. The more lower it is, the less pedaling effort you would need. But the bike will not. But either way, the bikes are going to be a bit tougher to do on if you do something extreme versus something that's very light. Step 1 for like drivetrain gears: when you pedal, the chain rings on the crankset would rotate, turning the chain. How this works really? We're just going over how the drivetrain gear works. Essentially, step 1: when you pedal, the chain rings on the crankset would rotate, turning the chain. Step 2 of how this works afterwards is that the chain moves around the cassette and that engages the cog selected by the derailleurs. Step 3, you shift the derailleur with the shifters, and that changes the gear ratio and adjusts the pedaling effort moving forward after. So we can see essentially over here the system of how this really would work. This is the crankset, the chain, the rear derailleur, and the front derailleur, and we have the chain rings. This is essentially just one system. I always like to tell my students in this mentorship program that at this point over here, this is a system, just one single system in terms of this overall bike system. This is just one system of how, you know, brakes or gear changings. This is essentially one system of how this would interact. Again, without systems, we won't really have something to work with. We need something as the basic foundation, and that's systems to kind of work with this stuff. So that's very, very cool. We're just going to go over just a quick review. Let's go over a quick review on certain bike parts. Actually, I want to go over some certain bike parts actually in this part as well, because this is just going to tie into some drivetrain gears as well. So the bike chain, the function, facts, and history, we've done that before. So remember, the function for bike chains, it transfers power from the pedals to the rear wheels, propelling the bike forward, lasts between 2,000 and 3,000 miles, and the joining pin holds that bike chain together. Back then, the bikers haven't really replaced the chains because of the inefficiency of the shaft and belts. We've gone over this. The chain tension, remember, that prevents the value and the increase of the wear. If the chain is too light, the chain would lose the lubricant, and if the chain is too loose, the chain will vibrate and is damaged. This is a good system. We've gone over this in our previous video about bike parts, so take a look at that as well. This has good reference of really, you know, going over like, you know, just like the general system of really here. But I'm just going over specific bike parts. This is just a general like short review on like, you know, these bike parts that are tied into the drivetrain gear. So yeah, and we've also gone over we have gone over a few of these, not too many of these though. We haven't gone over all of these, but we have bike derailleurs, cassette, and chain rings. That's bike parts number 2. And you know, the bike derailleurs, the function for that, it controls the course of the chain over the chain rings. The fun fact about that, it helps change the gear. History, it credits to Gian Lobayer, who was able to craft this bike derailleur for us, and now we can still use that to, you know, change the gear. The bike cassette, the function for that, the set of cogs, it helps provide multiple gear ratios to the rider. For example, let's say you're going from, you can change the speed from 1, 2 to 3, you can get that to 12 speed, and you can, by changing those bike cassettes, the cogs. The bike chainring, you know, the function of that is that the toothed wheel that connects to the pedals and drives the chain, which helps drive the rear wheel as a result. Credits to Leonardo da Vinci for helping to create these chainrings as well. And a lot of these stem from Europe. These are European names. It comes from these Europeans. So shout out to Europe. Shout out to Europe, guys. So yeah, I think that's about it for this. Yep. Okay. I think that's about it for this video for today. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to email us or contact us as well. And when sending questions, you can write the question, send a picture, and we'll respond when we have the chance. I gotta use the toilet because I think I put so much hot sauce on that noodles. Oh my god. Oh god. Guys, do not eat hot sauce with noodles. Just don't do that. Especially if it's cup of noodles, don't do that. I'm gonna go. Alright. Alright, but anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to subscribe. Take care.